Hey guys, 1, 2, 3, 4 Beyblade here, and welcome back to another Beyblade video. This time we have another video for the WBO, and this time it's going to be about the infamous lair, Odin. Now, this lair is certainly very OP, and I think it should be banned as a whole, and in this video I'll be demonstrating why it should be banned as a whole. I personally think just because it's on heavy defense, it doesn't make it, really good. I personally think heavy survive is even better than heavy defense. So I'll be trying to prove that in this video as well, and I'll also be proving how other discs make Odin perform, and I honestly don't think that other discs make it that much worse. So just banning a certain combination, Odin heavy defense, isn't going to make it much worse, nor is banning heavy going to make Odin less overpowered. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. So first up, I'll be demonstrating the only counter to Odin. To not being a counter really, because if you launch Odin hard enough, chaos is done for. So let's go ahead and demonstrate that right now. I did a sliding shoot for both of them because usually they tend to go to the ridge and the circle, so. And there you have it, Odin. Let's try that one more time. So there you have them battling at high speed. Chaos a bit unbalanced for some reason. Wow. Okay, let's see if it lost any clicks. Nope, because it's OP. Alright, so now let's test out how much better Odin Heavy Defense actually is than Odin Heavy Survive. Because Kyvie did mention that Survive and Claw aren't as good as Defense, but you know, it's kind of launch power variations. So if this was launched first, that would win. And yeah, I'll demonstrate that, and then if this was launched first, this one would win. So let's go ahead and test that. Go shoot! And there you have it. It wins just by a bit. Alright, let's launch Odin Heavy Defense first now. They start off a bit aggressive. So yeah, right now it definitely seems like Odin Heavy Defense is going to lose this. So it's just a variation of power. That's the only variable playing in this game right now. Alright, so now let's test out Death Scyther Heavy Survive versus Odin Heavy Survive. See how they do. Go shoot! Alright, that wasn't intentional. I personally think Death Scyther is going to win since it is the ultimate stamina type of the Brisk game. So this is the only time Odin can lose when it goes up against Death Scyther. As you can see, it even barely won. It won by a wobble. That wouldn't even count as a win in a tournament format, because a wobble is a wobble, not a full rotation. So that would be a draw. And also, Death Scyther did lose 2 clicks there, and Odin only lost 1. So I'm going to try that again, because that's quite invalid when they went on the ridge, because, you know, not a lot of people get the Beyblades on the ridge. So I'll just do a bit of a bank, and then we'll see how that goes. And I'll be launching Death Scyther first this time. Go shoot! Alright, let's see if Odin Heavy Survive manages to take a win and prove itself superior to every other Beyblade, even the stamina types. No! Okay, so that Scyther seems so far to be the only somewhat okay counter to it. Alright, since our target is Odin Heavy Defense, I'll be testing Odin Heavy Defense versus the other attack types in this metagame currently, which is Valkyrie Heavy Extreme. That's the main one we'll be testing, and then we'll also be testing Minoboros Heavy Extreme, Materios Heavy Extreme, and Excalibur Heavy Extreme. And I'd also like to mention the different discs I'll be using, which is Spread and Ring, so we'll see how those will affect Odin, if not at all. I personally don't think it'll affect it much. So I'll be weak launching Odin Heavy Defense because that seems to be the strategy to go with. Alright, Odin wins. And Odin, burst priority. Alright, now I'll be switching to ring defense. See how that does. It gets knocked out more easily. But no clicks. Let's see how many Valkyrie lost. 2. Alright, once again, knockout. Valkyrie lost 2 clicks, and Odin lost 3. So it seems like banning heavy would actually be somewhat logical. Just gonna get one more try. Okay, so Valkyrie now stands somewhat of a chance. Okay, it lost 3 clicks because right when I touched it, it lost its last click. So, it's still somewhat dangerous. Now let's try with Spread. Okay. It was about to burst, so. And that was actually burst finish for Valkyrie. So it does seem like banning heavy would be somewhat logical, like I've said before. The results do seem more towards the attack type, so yeah, definitely heavy is an option right now. Alright, let's give Materios Heavy Extreme a spin against Odin Heavy Defense. And Materios. Just saying Materios is probably the counter to Odin, even though it lost 2 clicks there. Go shoot! And Materios takes another win. Now the problem with Materios being the counter to Odin is that it's a rare Beyblade. Not everyone has it, so like, it's kind of unfair, you know? Now let's give Odin Ring Defense a spin against Materios. Now I just noticed that my tests were actually invalid because in the thread we were talking about banning heavy as a total, and I was testing heavy against Odin Ring Defense. So that was kind of invalid, so I need to change discs. So I'll just be using Spread on the Materios. Oh, see? Okay, so banning heavy as a total. Alright, I was just about to conclude something that banning heavy as a total would be a total bad decision, but, you know, it was just one round, so let's just give it a few more tries. And the Materials takes that. They both lost 2 clicks, so further proven that attack types do lose more clicks when it's not on heavy. Wow. And the Materials wins. Let's see how many clicks it lost, because against Odin Heavy Defense, okay, 2 clicks. Let's give that one more shot. double burst finish. So it does seem like attack types are a lot more fragile with something other than heavy. So banning heavy as a total might not be the way to go. I think banning heavy on just Odin would nerf it a lot. As we saw from the Valkyrie Heavy Extreme versus Odin Spread and Ring battles. Odin lost a lot more than like when it had heavy. Let's give Spread a shot and Ring a shot. Okay. And Amaterios wins with 2 click losses. One more round. Seems like Extreme is a lot harder to control with Ring. I mean, it kind of makes sense. The rate is like put on the outside. Okay. So it's, yeah, 2 clicks again on Amaterios. Lastly, we'll be giving Excalibur Heavy Extreme a shot. I won't be bothering with Minoboros because it's just a little bit too much, you know? Let's shoot. And burst priority for Excalibur. Another burst finish, 2 click losses. Last time it was just 1. One more round. Clearly Odin got lucky there. Let's see how many clicks it lost. 3, and Excalibur lost 1. So if Excalibur touched Odin one more time, it would have won. So, yeah. Anyway, it seems like Excalibur is a pretty good counter to Odin. But I'm going to try launching it super weak this time. Clearly Odin is rather overpowered with heavy on it. But I think if we just ban like heavy on Odin specifically, it won't cause as much trouble because Valkyrie had no problem beating Spread and Ring on Odin. So I think definitely it would nerf Odin a lot if we just ban heavy for Odin specifically, not the whole metagame, because then it would still kind of make Odin overpowered. Because as we saw with Odin Ring defense going up against Amaterios, Amaterios is supposed to be the counter to Odin, but it actually ended up in some draws and everything like that. So I personally think heavy should just get banned on Odin. Hopefully those tests cleared some stuff up. I don't know. I tried my best to prove Odin heavy defense to be quite overpowered, but if we just ban Odin heavy defense as a specific combo, other stuff like heavy survive will come in and dominate once again, because like I've said before, Odin heavy survive is just as good as Odin heavy defense. It just matters on how well you launch it. So yeah, it doesn't really change anything if you just ban a specific combination, because Odin heavy survive, Odin heavy claw, and Odin heavy needle even will come in and dominate once again. So yeah, banning heavy should solve that problem on just Odin.